Happy Friday evening, everyone, and welcome to what is a one-day special hour, but actually things are a little bit different this weekend because we are doing not just a monthly mega deal, but a mega monthly mega deal situation with AALL Create. So what we've done is that AALL Create are on right the way across the weekend. Of course, Abs has been here already today as well. We've got Tracy with us in this show as well, which is going to be absolutely brilliant. But there is, from AALL Create, there are it's kind of two lots of one-day special plus lots of other wonderfulness that will be featured over the weekend, all in one enormous mega monthly mega deal. Now, I have to tell you, it's already been very, very popular. It was launched with, it was Yanis this morning, this afternoon, sometime earlier today, and already things have gone a little bit crazy, and I'm not surprised because when you see the plethora of what is available in your mega monthly mega deal, which is not easy to say, but we'll be saying it all weekend, I'm sure, you have got the biggest savings in this massive, huge array, which includes free gifts and all sorts as well. But let's talk about our focus for this hour, because one of the very, very talented artists that work with AALL Create is Tracy Evans. And it's lovely always to meet a legend. So let's go live to Tracy right now, wherever you are right now. Tracy, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Derek. How are you? I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. Where are we talking to you from? Where are you?
I'm actually in Crewe, Cheshire.
Oh, lovely. Good, up north. Right, you ready for some fun for the next hour then?
Yes, I'm really excited, and I've made sure that I'm dressed and my hair's washed for the first time in months.
Everything looks brilliant. Now, of course, we love your illustrations. We've seen your artwork with AALL Create many, many, many times recently, I know. It's great. I love the character that you put into all of your artwork as well. We'll have a look at it, some of it straight away, shall we? Because it's just beautiful. It's full of imagination. It's full of breadth and dimension as well. I always love an alphabet, I have to say. So the first item we're just going to show you right now, which of course is in your mega monthly mega deal as well, is this 3 set of stamps here, which are absolutely adorable. So we've got the pheasant, which we're focusing on tonight, and we also have the snippet alphabet. I'm a lover of an alphabet, and I love this one. It's really, really good. And we've also got your heart grunge as well. Now, heart grunge really encapsulates what AALL Create is all about, really, doesn't it, Tracy? Because it's kind of that conglomeration of chaos and wonderfulness. It's just full of a little bit of everything, isn't it?
And I think that's what I like most, is the fact that you've got that collage style, which is predominantly what AALL Create are about, is a collage style. And this time around, I've tried to mix things up a little bit by offering the collage style, but also offering some quirky characters that go with the background stamps. And that heart stamp, we always say that stamp sets are versatile. We do band that word around quite a bit.
True.
But for me, I think it's really important that every stamp is versatile and works with the older releases as well.
Well, if you look at that elongated heart, I mean, there's so many elements. It kind of fires your imagination in so many different directions, doesn't it? There's kind of like test tubes in there, and feathers, and bingo numbers, and postal elements. There's kind of all worlds colliding in that heart, isn't there?
I think that's me all over. Try and cram in as much as possible, but still have some style about it. So it's great to have a collage mixed media style, but I like it to have a clean edge. I don't like it to be too cluttered. I do like there to be some open space so that you can develop that style as well.
I absolutely love it. I've got some news for you already. Now, this is the first monthly mega deal. So these 3 sets of stamps here for you are this monthly mega deal where you make a £4 saving. What I would say, everyone, is just hold off and watch everything progress in terms of savings as well, because you might be changing your mind a few times in this hour as well, because already stock-wise, where did you say, Katie, we were already? Okay, approaching a fifth of the stock has already sold out and gone. 666616 is the item number for that. an alphabet set of stamps is always so wanted and loved and brilliant. Now, just bear in mind that £4 saving and keep it in your mind for a moment as we look at another bundle of Tracy's artwork here. And this is lovely. This is like taking a little journey into Tracy's mind here. The little characters that run around in it, I think. Is it, Tracy?
Yes, I am slightly quirky. I am known as the quirky queen. But what I wanted to do with these characters is I wanted to show that you can have quirky characters and you can still do mixed media. You can still have cute quirky, but it doesn't necessarily have to just be done in a cute way.
Yes.
It can still be developed. It can still be developed in a mixed media style. But I've also tried to stay true to my style in adding little details in the characters' bodies. And I think it's also, again, important to let the customers know that all of these stamps work beautifully with the older releases. I never want to bring a new stamp out that won't work with at least a few of the other older releases as well.
Yeah. I think they're brilliant as well. I think right now as well, where we're all at home, just like you, Tracy, a lot of us are at home, a lot of us have got children to entertain and, you know, find different things to do as well. I think you've got something that can take every crafter at every level, at every age, on a bit of a journey with this set. I think it's really nice. And again, you're right, versatile is used an awful lot as a phrase, but it really does count with here. You can see the character, but it's not so much character that you can't add your own individuality into it as well, with the AALL Create stamps and stencils that you might already have, or you might be adding in the monthly mega deal. We'll come back to that in a moment. Now, Tracy, I'm going to let you set up for your first demo as we go through everything else. There's quite a few numbers and bits and pieces for us to go through, and then we'll be back over with you in just a second. So if you want that set of stamps there, the quirky friends, up and away, and the happy dog, it's 21 stamps in total there. Loads you can do with those as well. £31.97 there, 579309. They're already busy. I'm not surprised at all. Now, if you want these and these, because you've thought, okay, you've got that FOMO already and you want all of Tracy's pieces in one, so you've got great backgrounds there, you've got the ability to personalise with the text, you've got those amazing pheasants there and all the elements in that stamp set, plus all of these up here. We've got a bundle for that as well. Now that's got a freedom saving on it as well, which is brilliant. So on that, if you're a freedom member, you're saving even more, which is brilliant. So it is £78.94, or if you're a freedom member, £71.05, and that means it's saving you £10.89. I've got to take this one first. It's just the cutest thing, isn't it? This is brilliant. This is taking one of the little creatures on a little balloon flight. And you see just that script and the little elements that Tracy added into the balloon there has just given, I mean, that is quite some adventure going on. You can feel the wind going through there, can't you, as well? Oh, and look, there's a, oh, actually, it might be missing a little element. Oh, I tell you what, that should have been part of that, shouldn't it? Sorry, one's come away from the other, because this has been made as a penny spinner. So if I put him back on there and put that up there, then, oh, actually, I'm going to need to get, I'll fix that. I'll do a repair job on that, and I'll show you it again a little bit later on. And we'll bring it back to you. In the meantime, look, you've got the little creature there, the little dog there, using the script as well, which I think is lovely. Look, aren't they cute? Now, you know that you've got the £3 saving that you've got here. That's the £3 saving that's carried over from that £4 from the other one as well. So overall, you're making a £7 saving if you're doing this bundle here, because of course it's the two sets. So you've got the £3 saving on one and the £4 saving on the other. Keep up with me, but you don't need to, because actually the big savings come in the mega monthly mega deal. But if you want those two together, that's the item number you need, 405819. Right, shall we get to the main attraction, which is basically no FOMO here whatsoever, because you are going to get all of the collections that you see here from AALL Create, which is one of the biggest bumper bundles of stamping wondrousness you could ever wish for. And if you've got anything AALL Create, you just know how well, if you take a little peruse through any of those stamp sets that you like, you know that anything AALL Create that you have right now, any of the stencils, any of the stamp sets already, because they're so full of script and life and animation and breadth and possibility, then you will definitely want this. Now, this is a culmination of what will be a one-day special at the end of the weekend, what we're featuring tonight with Tracy, a weekend wow, and also there's free gifts in this. So this is the mega monthly mega deal. You're getting 146 stamps in total here, which is just bonkers and mad and lovely and brilliant. And again, the other thing about this is it is broken down as well. If you're a Freedom member, you get this as 3 flexis as well, which is really good. So that £15 saving is there. You've got all of the other savings that are carried over. So overall, the actual saving is around about £35, which is brilliant. Free gifts over here, which is £25 worth of free gifts. So it's 2 stamp sets and a washi tape there as well, which is really awesome. I love it. I love these. I think the shapes on those are just beautiful, aren't they? Because they're almost a little bit floral, they're almost a little bit lifeboat, they're almost a little bit mint that we used to enjoy, that's still around these days with the hole in the middle. There's hearts in there. It takes your imagination, doesn't it, in so many different directions. Now, there are lots and lots of you with this in your basket already tonight, and I am not surprised. Can I just reiterate that what we've got here as the mega monthly mega deal collection here, if you're a Freedom member, of course, you can break that down into 3 flexis. So your first flexi on this one, I'll bring you the details of that. So it brings the price down straight away to £160 and 5, which is brilliant. And you can break that down into 3 flexis of £53.35. So if you're not a Freedom member and you want all of this right now, it's a why not. It's definitely a why not. It's definitely okay. Become a Freedom member to save your postage for the rest of the month, and also the ability to break this down into 3 flexis. The first of which today, which gets this dispatched to you, is £53.35 and your P&P, and we send it out to you. That's it. It's yours to start playing with, to start discovering, to start enjoying as well. 728596. Now remember, this is a monthly mega deal, so this theoretically is available for a month. Now that is down to you, really, because it's all about stock. And stock-wise on the mega monthly mega deal, already half of the stock has sold out and gone. Now, I think, if I'm right in saying, were AALL Create's first hour today, was that midday or was it an earlier one? 10 o'clock this morning. So since 10 o'clock this morning when it first launched, in fact, pretty much within a minute and a half, I saw with one of the shows earlier, we were talking 10 or 20% of the, I think it may have been the midday show actually, but 10 or 20% of the stock had already gone by then. Now we're talking about half of the stock sold out and gone. AALL Create are with us all weekend. Pardon the pun. Don't pardon the pun, actually, they are. They're here the whole weekend. So I don't know. I mean, we're meant to be talking a month. We're meant to be talking a month's worth of stock here. When you see the breadth and depth of everything, and this is kind of like AALL Create, all in one gorgeous bundle there for you. And there will be more monthly mega deals as well. This is the first one of 2021. It's fabulous. Now, remember, you can break down the individual collections that you're seeing right now. You can break them down and you can buy them individually as well. So if there's something you've just got your eye on and you just want that, you can go to the website. In fact, we'll go to the website and go and have a little flick through, shall we? So you can see the stamp sets, excuse me, are included. The washi tape is on its own. Again, you can break down those larger stamp sets like the snippet alphabet. You can buy that individually if you want to as well. But of course, the biggest value and the biggest savings, and they are massive savings, is in that monthly mega mega monthly mega deal. Yes, right, to get that the right way around. So it's £177.83. Now, we've also got some pick and mixes on the show tonight for you as well. In fact, there's a huge array, and if I was to go through them, I'd be here until about 9 o'clock because they are awesome and massive. So this is your All and Create weekend, ready to just go in and just, it's a bit like your, well, a pick and mix is definitely the term, isn't it? And go in and delve into absolutely everything that you want to. It's going to be such a busy hour as well. So do get your orders in, because remember, if you're getting the mega monthly mega deal, then you can sit back, relax and just watch the rest of the whole of the weekend and get all of the inspiration as this collection comes out to you. But anyway, listen, let us go back up to Staffordshire and back to Tracy, the lady herself who created this artwork that we're focusing on in this hour, and see what we're going to do. And you've got some examples there, I think, Tracy, to show us, have you?
Well, I think as a designer, Derek, I think it's important that I also show the viewers how the designer of the products is inspired. So if you don't mind, if it's okay for a couple of minutes, I was just going to show 4 samples, because my samples are completely different to the design team samples.
Yeah, it's all yours, Tracy.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. So what I'm going to do over the next 24 hours is I'm going to create the sample that is here in front of me, and it's actually an accordion. And in the accordion, I'm going to use all the stamps that I've designed for the one-day special and the mega bundle. So I'll be using all the stamp sets. Now, what I've tried to do is I've tried to use a minimal colour palette, because for 24 hours, I want it to be about the stamps. I don't want it to be about too many other products. I want to show how the stamps can actually sing and can actually work on their own with minimal product. So we're going to be creating that over the 24 hours. So I will start with that shortly. But just for a couple of seconds, I just want to show a 3D project.
Oh, wow.
Because sometimes we're always thinking about cards or journal pages, and I just want to show that stamp sets can also be used in 3D projects. And I think it's important to show that they are versatile, in that you don't just have to use them for card projects. So we'll just move that out the way.
Tracy, I'm loving your camera work. Do you want a job?
I'm trying my best.
Brilliant.
So also here, what my idea was with the mouse is that it reminded me of the nursery rhymes, and that's what the clock struck 1 means here. So the idea is that with these quirky characters, that you can take them in a mixed media approach. Yeah. You don't have to just think of quirky characters as being cute. They can also be vintage, and you can also use them with all your background stamps as well. So that just shows that. And I won't keep you too long with the samples, just one more sample, just to show that the pheasant, again, can also be used in a mixed media project.
That's awesome.
Just so that you can see that we've used all the stamp sets, and it doesn't just have to be about cards. So we'll get on to the demos. And what I want to do first is I want to use the alphabet, which I absolutely love. I love the fact that it's a random alphabet, and you can use it as a whole, as a background, or individually, because each stamp is individual. And I'm also going to be using the pheasant stamp set. So I'm really pleased with how they've turned out. They're always better in real life than when you're actually designing them.
Yeah.
But I also think that as a designer, you also need to see what you're spending your money on. And the pheasant stamp, I just thought it was important, because you can't see it on the stamp sets. These little elements here are also, you can use on their own. You don't have to just use them with this stamp set. These elements can be used individually. The same again with the P. You can use them with my older stamp sets. It doesn't just have to be with this stamp set. So for instance, the pheasant can go with a lot of the flower stamps that I've bought out as well.
Yeah.
So we'll get onto a demo, which is the reason why we're here. So what I've got here is I've got a piece of white card. It's white, smooth card, and it's 4.5 inches in width by 6.5 inches in length. And what I have here is just a circle die cut out of copier paper. Nothing special, just out of copier paper. And I'm going to take the alphabet stamp sets. And I'm going to use greens. Abs will be very proud of me using greens. So it's one of his favourite colours, so he will be proud of me. So I'm actually going to use this stamp set as a whole, because a lot of the time we always think, well, we'll just pull each individual letter out and we'll stamp an individual word. It doesn't just have to be used like that. You can use it as a whole stamp set. Just make sure you can see me in camera. Yes, you can.
Perfect.
So I'm just using a VersaFine Clair Verdant, and the Verdant is an ink pad with a really good open time. So that means that it stays wetter longer, and the VersaFine Clair is really good for these AALL Create detailed stamps. So I'm actually inking the whole alphabet because I don't want to miss a part of the alphabet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do...
We really need that stamp set in our lives.
I just love this stamp set. It's one of them stamp sets that I love alphabets. I'm also using Shady Lane, and I always want to say Shady Lady, and it's Shady Lane. So maybe I'm a bit of a shady lady in the.
You've been in lockdown too long, Tracy.
Oh yeah, I've been in lockdown far too long, I can tell you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift this stamp set up, and as you can see, I'm not using an acrylic block. I'm actually using it as is. So you can judge exactly where you want to put that. And I'm just going to place this here like so. Now, the reason I'm not using an acrylic block on this occasion is, one, to show you how simple the stamps are, to show you the quality of the stamps, but also because I'm going for a random effect. I don't necessarily have to have perfection. It doesn't matter if you miss a little bit, because that's what the background looks like. So as we lift the stamp up, you can see we've got a beautiful background, and you've also got an extra piece that you can use another time for another project. Yeah. So absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to wipe my area just so that we don't get in a complete mess. So I'll just lift that up just so that you can see the lovely detail in the stamp set. And you've got numbers and you've got the whole alphabet, so that's perfect. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the aperture, which is from the same die cut piece, and I'm just going to place that over the circle that we've created, the spotlight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Distress Oxide Twisted Citron. Now, I don't want to add too much colour. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that your ink blending tool is primed with enough ink. Don't be in too much of a rush to not have enough ink on your tool, because then you will not be able to get a decent blend. But on this occasion, I'm going for a dabbing motion. I'm not going for a blending. I'm going for a dab. So if I go out of camera, please mention to me, Derek, just so that I keep everybody.
You're absolutely perfect. I'm loving it. You've stunned me into silence, and I don't shut up often, so I'm just enjoying the show.
It's not often I get stunned into silence, Derek, I can tell you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the pheasant stamp. Now, I absolutely love the pheasant. One of my lovely followers, who is now a friend, asked if I would produce a pheasant stamp. And because I've already got bird stamps in the range, I thought, why not? And I had to add a few quirky bits, because the actual collar will go under the pheasant and the hat will go on top of the pheasant.
Brilliant.
So you've got accessories. But think outside the box. If you don't want to use the hat and the collar on the pheasant, you could use them on their own as a masculine card. So what I'm going to do now, again, because I've got this aperture, I've actually got a bit of a lip here. When you've got your card, because of that piece of paper, even though it's thin, there is a little bit of a lip. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the pheasant stamp as is. I'm not going to use it with an acrylic block. So I think also what we should also show, Derek, about the stamps. The stamps are actually made. The stamps are actually made in the UK, and I think one thing that we don't often look at is the thickness of the stamp, the actual quality of the polymer. The polymer is absolutely fantastic, and that means that you can use your stamps with your hot enamel techniques. So if you've got those hot enamel techniques, you won't do your stamp any harm at all.
Oh, that's good to know, isn't it?
Yeah, because you need that quality in the polymer to be able to use it with those heat techniques.
Yeah.
For those techniques where you're using molten things like your hot glue gun, hot powders, it won't affect your stamps at all.
Brilliant.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use Morning Mist VersaFine Clair. And again, mainly because I've got that lip on this circular aperture, I'm using the stamp as is, but I'm not using the whole image. I'm just using part of it. Because just because you've got a whole image doesn't mean you have to use the whole image every single time. The only thing you need to remember when you're stamping anything is to make sure you're not in too much of a rush. Make sure that you add a good layer of ink, especially if your stamp sets are brand new. If you've got a brand new stamp set, please make sure that you use a good layer of ink. So, and I've got a small desk here, so every time I put something down, it's frantically looking for it. Just move that sample out of the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the pheasant, and I can judge in this aperture exactly where I want that pheasant. And again, I only want part of the image, so I don't have to have the whole thing. So I can just press, and if you want to use an acrylic block, you can. But when you're stamping into an aperture, I wouldn't recommend an acrylic block for that technique, just because of that lip around the aperture. You need to press where that aperture is, just to make sure that you've got the whole image. And if I just lift to check, yes. And if I remove that aperture, you can see that we've got a lovely stamp set. And can you see the detail in that pheasant? That pheasant is just, even if I say so myself, I think he's a handsome fella. So I love him.
I love pheasants because actually I always personally regard them as comedy characters, because I live up in North Yorkshire, and when you're driving down lanes and whatever, you know, they do that kind of like they're an It's a Knockout character. They're like, oh, which way do I go? I'm not really quite sure where to go, and then eventually they get out of the way. But I find them quite funny. I really do. There's comedy in them for me, but they're quite a commanding kind of bird as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and quite sort of statuesque.
Yeah.
But they're a bit like me actually, Derek, with the comedy thing, because that's what I'm like just before an Hochanda show. Just before an Hochanda show, I'm sort of flitting all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm exactly the same.
Yeah. I love it.
What I've got here is, what I want to show is with the stamp sets, sometimes we just think about the whole thing. Sometimes it's nice to think about how to break down that design. So what I've got here is I've got a smaller circle, die cut circle. If you don't have any dies in your collection, just draw around a lid and that's absolutely fine. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to take the stamp set and I'm going to take a black ink pad, this time Nocturne Black, and I'm just going to ink that stamp, and I'm just going to ink the central area with that black ink. And I'm going to place the circle onto the part of the pheasant. And it always makes lining up a little bit easier. So now you've got part of the image. So in a way, you could also have a card where you're just using that as a background. Nobody even knows that's a pheasant. You can just use that as a background. And if you wanted, you could even use that with some string as a balloon to go with the characters. So it's just thinking outside the box. So it's just thinking how far your products can take you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add this to my pheasant. And you just have to line it up generally, just so you get the idea. And I will hold it up when I've got everything lined up, just so that you can see that for definite. And that's what I call a spotlight. It's spotlighting different areas on your image. So what I want to do is I want to take that a little bit further. So I've got a heart shape, which I just drew. So I've just drawn a heart shape. Or you could even use the hearts from the stamp set and draw around them, no problem at all. And what I'm going to do this time is take the pheasant image once again, and I'm going to just wipe my stamp set, just because I don't clean my stamps normally, but because I'm going from black to green, I just want to make sure I don't contaminate. So I'll just make sure that we've got that green lifted, that black lifted. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the verdant ink once more, and I'm going to ink the pheasant. Now, if you wanted, you could have the pheasant all in green. Nobody says that the pheasant has to be in black. It can be in green, it can be in turquoise, whatever you want. And I'm just going to use some of that Shady Lady, and then I'm just going to add a bit of the stamped image just to the heart.
That green's fantastic, isn't it? It might be, you know, normally some outside of someone's comfort zone colour-wise, but you look at it in that context and you think, why have I never used that ink before?
I know. I mean, isn't it a gorgeous colour? I
Lovely.
just love the colour. Nice grubby hands, but nice, you know, nice colour. I've always got grubby hands. That's the only problem. Really grubby hands. So we'll just give those a wipe. So what I'm going to do now is create a second layered spotlight, just to give the stamp a little bit more interest. So just create a second layered spotlight. Just add it over the top.
Oh, look
just
at
like
that.
so. Just so it stands out a little bit more. And what you can do now is you can press it down because you've decided exactly where it's going. Don't press your artwork down until you've decided where it's going, because then you've got a little bit more maneuver time.
Yeah.
But also, we want to sort of make sure that pops a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of shading just around this circle here. I will lift it up on the camera because you probably won't be able to see with me being on the desk and with it being quite dark in the room, so you might not see the shading, but it is important that you add that shading because it does make everything pop.
So Tracy, if you're doing a spotlight like that, do you always start with a circle first and then you can put any shape above it, or can it be any combination of shapes that you use to spotlight?
It can be. So if you've got, for instance, if you think outside the box, if you've got the AALL Create hexagons or the AALL Create triangular stencil, you can start with those shapes and you could use those stencils to create a different spotlight. If you want to be inspired by the demos, you could take them in a different way by doing a different spotlight, just to make it look a bit different with different shapes. But if I hold this up, just so that you can see, there's a little pop of shading just around the circle.
So that just lifts it up, doesn't it, completely?
Yeah, it just makes it look a bit more 3D. Now, what we can do is we can do a little bit more to this. We can give it a little bit more work. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this pop of black, just because you've got this black here and you don't want it just left like that, because it doesn't look like you've put any thought into it, because you've got the black here. You don't want it to look like you've just plonked it down on the card. You want it to look like it's got some kind of design element. And you want your stamps to be the main focus, but you want them to sing. You don't want them to look like you've just plonked it on a card and not thought about it. You want to offer a quality card to whoever you're sending the card to. Now, what I want to do is I also want to use the twisted citron again. As you can see here, we've got the twisted citron in the aperture.
Yeah.
And I think what's important is when you're designing something is, if you've got an element here, if you can, without it looking overcluttered, bring some of this element into the background. So I'm going to bring some of that twisted citron into the background. I'm just going to scrape direct to paper some of that ink.
Oh, I love this. I wish we had a 4-hour show, Tracy.
You'd get bored of hearing my droning accent.
Absolutely never. Absolutely never. So much inspiration on this.
So
I'm going to have to give everyone some updates soon, but But
You
I
just
am
let me
loving
know
this.
when you need to do updates, Derek.
I
and
will
can
do in the
just
next
pause.
couple of minutes if you want to just round up
problem.
this demo, although I never want it to end.
Nope. No problem. So I've just brought in the lime green into the background, just so that it looks like it's more cohesive. Now, what I want to do is I want to add another little stamped element. And on your stamped images, on the pheasant,
Yeah.
there's this little image here, just here.
Yes. What is a collection of pheasants called, Tracy? Do you know?
Do you know? I actually don't know.
Collection. We'll look at it. We'll look it up. I'll get Katie to look it up and then see if we can find out, because there must be a collective, mustn't there, for pheasants?
Oh, there must be. And actually, I'm ashamed to say that I don't know. I should.
Well, we'll all find out together. Every day's a school day.
Exactly, exactly.
It's called
so
what,
I want
Katie?
you to think. Do we know?
Oh, it's called a Nye, as in N-I-G-H.
Really?
N-Y-E, apparently. A Nye of pheasants. Who knew that, Tracy?
Well, I didn't know that. You learn something every day.
Yeah.
But if you look at this, Derek, this part of the stamp set here, that in itself would make a card.
Yeah.
Just that on its own. You don't have to have everything just on one
card. Is that
card.
like a little musical score that they're sitting on, Tracy? It looks a bit like a musical score. Is it?
Just like a little musical.
It's awesome, isn't it? It's that could almost be an album cover for Beethoven, couldn't it?
Yeah, but also I think what's important to point out is, can you see these little details in the pheasant here?
Yes.
It's meant to coordinate with the big pheasant, because the big pheasant's got details in its body as well. So all those details are thought about. So just going to add this now.
Okay.
What amazes me is how quickly the time goes.
Yeah.
I always think I'm going to have loads of time to do everything, and it never works like that.
No, Tracy, honestly, an hour on telly is like 10 minutes in reality. It's bizarre.
Yeah, but I do Facebook Live, so I know exactly what it's like time-wise, but it just disappears.
Listen, Tracy, just as you're working on that, do you mind if I just break away for a second and we'll come back and watch whatever you've completed there, if that's all right? I just need to remind everyone what the offer is here, because it's honestly, it's so awesome. Let me break it down, because we've got monthly mega deals, 2 monthly mega deals. So let's start with this one here, which is the 3 big stamp sets. So we've got the pheasants that Tracy's just been working with, which are, you know, again, awesome. Just take that moment just to have a little journey through. I did wonder whether that was like a tux collar, and it was. I didn't want to ask, because I didn't want to ask a silly question, but it absolutely was. Of course it was. It's Tracy's work. It's bonkers. It's a little bit quirky. It's a little bit bonkers, and that's what life should be like at the moment, shouldn't it? It's beautiful. So you get that one. You also get the other 2 stamp sets as well, which is the Snippet Alphabet and the Heart Grunge as well. The Heart Grunge is just absolutely awesome. And then, sorry, Marcus. Marcus and I point at one thing and Marcus goes the other way, and then we're doing a push me, pull me at the moment. Lovely. We have got a lovely rhythm. We just go completely the opposite ways at the same time. It's brilliant. So there is the Heart Grunge. Again, that's brilliant. And again, that can be foreground, that can be background, that can be coordination with everything else that you've got in this. So if you want this monthly mega deal, that one is $49.97, which you can break down into 2 flexis as well, and you're saving £4 on that. But of course, hold off to see the details on the monthly mega deal, because we've got also from Tracy's amazing artwork, Tracy that we're working with in this hour, who's just awesome and amazing. I love her to bits. Look at these. Just look at those. They are brilliant. So these are your quirky friends. Up, up and away. And Happy Dog. I don't know. We haven't got... Oh, do you know, that might be one of the only ways to go on holiday at the moment as well. Hot air balloon. Or is that allowed? Because you don't know where you're going to end up, don't you? Don't do that at home. Not that anybody will, but you know what I mean? That would be quite a nice way to just jet off at the moment, wouldn't it, if we were allowed? But those quirky characters are just brilliant. And I love the different scaling on them as well, which is brilliant. Gina has just dropped me an email saying, couldn't resist putting these in my basket. You know what? I completely understand it. If you want the 3 stamp sets then of the quirky characters, the Up, Up and Away, quirky friends, I should say, and Happy Dog, it's £31.97. There is that is brilliant. 579309 is your item number on that one. But again, hold off, because that is all also part of the mega monthly. Oh, no, hang on. Let's do the Tracy Evans Complete collection first. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So that's all the 3 large stamp sets and the character stamp sets as well together, because that's also a bundle with an extra saving on it. So there's an extra £3 saving there. So that also incorporates the £4 saving that we had from the larger stamp set at the beginning. Are you keeping up? £78.94. Of course, that's lower if you are a Freedom member as well. But I'm almost making those details more complicated than they need to be as well, because ultimately I want you to join most people who are saying, you know what, I've got to have it all. Because, you know, we saw Abs on the shows earlier on in the day with some of these other stamp sets here. Now we've got Tracy's. We've also got Sunday's one-day special, which will be this monthly mega deal down here as well. And plus, bear in mind that this monthly mega deal also comes with £25 worth of free gifts as well. So you've got an extra bonus 2 stamp sets, and you can see the individual prices for those because they're on the web as individual items. So you can do the totting up there, and that's £25 worth. So it's these 2 gorgeous stamp sets here. So you've got the big heart, and then you've got so many elements here, plus the washi tape as well is included. You can also split this down into 3 payments as well, which is even better. So we've worked out, by the way, that if you are a Freedom member, we've totted up. Katie's been doing a lot of very complicated calculations in the background. And actually, tell me again, Katie, because I've forgotten. Right, so you've got your £35 saving that we know of overall if you're buying the mega deal, and with your Freedom it comes to £56.70, and then you get your free gift, which is a value of £25, of course. So that brings the total of your savings altogether to £82 worth of savings. £82 worth of savings, and you get no FOMO because you've got the whole AALL Create weekend here. This is your whole weekend of AALL Create in one, all sorted. And your first of 3 flexes, £53.35 plus your P&P today, and we send it out to you. It's yours. It's yours to start playing with. It's yours to start creating with. You're going to love it. And you are going to have a weekend full of resources, remember, in terms of the shows to watch back from Abs and Tracy and Leonie, and like it's a just big weekend. You're going to have it a bit like a video library of all the shows, so you can come back for the inspiration as well. I just love it all. I just want it all. And actually, I want a 4-hour show with Tracy right now rather than a 1-hour show. It's brilliant. The whole collection. Every time you look at a different set, you see different inspiration. And can you see the way you can mix and match and bring everything together as well? Because there is no element of this that doesn't mix with everything else, which is absolutely awesome. So if you want your monthly mega deal, already half of the entire, and it's usually we're talking one-day special, and this is a one-day special hour, but this was monthly mega deals that we're talking about. Stock that should be lasting a month, and already within half a day, half of the stock of that big entire bundle has gone. When you look at the size of the saving, though, I mean, it's just awesome. And with free gifts as well. We love AALL Create. You know we love AALL Create. And I know you love it as well. So let's do some more then, shall we? Should we go back to Tracy? Shall we? Let's go back to Staffordshire and find out how we're getting on. So what else did you add, Tracy?
Okay, so what I've done now is I've made what I would call a cohesive design. So I've added the pheasants here below, and I've spotlighted the pheasants to coordinate with the centre here so that it looks like a proper designed card. And then just at the top, I've done exactly the same with the pheasant, just so that you can see that it all ties in perfectly, just so that you can see that. And if I just place that down, you can see the whole card. And those metal elements just bring another quirky touch, which is what I like about creating cards. Now, obviously,
love it.
Sorry, I didn't create a card with mine. I created an accordion. As you can see, it's a complete accordion. You can't see the whole thing.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm trying to say that you can change it up. If you want this to be a canvas, it can be a canvas. If you want it to be a journal page, then it can be a journal page. So would you like me to go to the next demo now, Derek?
Spotlighting, by the way, is such a genius idea. I'm sure it's given lots and lots of people lots of ideas. Yes, please, let's start a new one then, shall we?
No problem. I just dump everything on the floor, so there's no room. So let's have a look at one of the quirky characters and how it works with the background stamp. So I think we're going to create that next.
OK, I'm just going to give you some warnings straight away, Tracy, that we've got 10 minutes on the show, so we might need to be slightly swifter this time, just so that we don't run out of time.
10 minutes?
Sorry.
For goodness sake.
You can do it, Tracy. I know you can do it.
So what I've got here is I've got the heart stamp set, the grunge heart, and I'm following the colour scheme all the way throughout. It's important to follow the colour scheme if you're creating an accordion, just so that it works beautiful. I'm using Shady Lady, and again, I'm not using an acrylic block because I want a vintage effect. I don't want something that necessarily has to be too perfect. It can be random if you wish. So it's entirely up to you. And I will be able to be a little bit quicker because I have cut the mouse out, so that is good. But just so that you can see that background, can you see the detail in that? Just stunning. And I just love the torn edges. I love the fact that it's not straight. So just move that out of the way.
Tracy, can I just ask you, over lockdown and everything else, obviously the last year so far has been quite extraordinary for all of us. Does that make you more creative, or do you just have your moments?
I would say the first lockdown I was actually more creative because I just wanted to get stuck in and not think about it, dwell on lockdown. But in the second lockdown, I'm now ready. I need to get out of the house.
Get some new inspiration.
Yes, and I also need to, I'm a big fan of gardening, so I spend a lot of time in the garden and that inspires me. But because of the weather, we're not even able to do that.
Well, at least we're in plus temperatures now, aren't we, again? So that's a good sign.
Oh, mind you, I only have to be something like 12 degrees with being a redhead and I can get sunburned, so it's not a problem. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the Neuron stencil from ABS, and I'm just going to add another touch of layer to the background. I'm just using the Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink, just to add a little bit of a detail through the stencil. And as I said at the beginning of my demos, this is about the stamp sets, not anything else. It's about how the stamp sets can sing.
Yeah, it's making them the star, isn't it?
Yeah, the stamps are the stars this time around. And what I'm going to do is just grab a piece of card. Do you know, my desk was so tidy before I started this show.
Well, you know, we can only see a bit of it, Tracy, so, you know, that camera hides a multitude of sins, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's hiding loads. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stamp my little mouse. And again, just allow the ink to rest on the card, just to give it time, even with a small stamp, just so that it soaks into that card. And if you can see, the mouse, just like my other stamps, has got detail in the body. And it's got a little M for mouse. Now, the mice come to life when you colour them. Look at the difference when you actually colour the image.
Oh, awesome.
It makes a massive difference.
Do you give your characters names as well, Tracy?
I haven't yet, but I'm bound to. The way the words that come out of my mouth, nothing would surprise me. Because I actually called, yesterday on a Facebook Live, I actually called my characters Squirky instead of Quirky.
Oh, did you?
So now they're known as Squirky characters now.
Lovely. Oh, look, his little quizzical look, as if he's looking to say, what on earth has she drawn this time?
Exactly. That's exactly what it's thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the mouse. Let's not take over the space. to the background.
Yeah.
And we just want to make that mouse pop a little more. How am I doing for time, Derek?
You've got another 5-ish minutes, so you're fine. Maybe
Right.
4, because I might need to do a quick reminder before we go.
Yeah, no problem. So we can easily recap in the next show what we did anyway. It's not a problem.
Yeah, because you're back at 8 o'clock with Hayley, aren't you?
Yes, I'm on at 8 o'clock. Now, again, just so that that mouse doesn't blend into the background too much, I won't do it all, but what you need to do is you need to go round with a black pencil. I won't do that now because it takes up too much time. And what you need to do then is we want to add another black spotlight, which is just 2 circular die cut pieces placed together and run through the die cutting machine, just so that you can get the frame. And what we can do then is we can frame the little mouse, just so that he's framed, just so that he pops a little bit more. And then what we can do is we've got the little
bless him. He looks like he's written his maths homework up on the wall, and he's like, no, I still don't understand it.
A bit like me. I never understood maths homework.
No.
So
Yeah, me too.
that's why I'm artistic.
And that's why I'm stood here. I'm not an accountant.
So on these stamp sets, you've also got 2 hearts. And I'm going to stamp this heart. And again, with the same colour palette, those greens. So I'm just going to stamp with those greens.
Do you know, I'd use those hearts every time I posted a card to someone. I'd use that heart on the envelope.
That, you see, that's a lovely idea. You could put it on the back of the envelope.
Yeah.
And it's just a lovely touch. Also, remember to do the inside of your cards as well. But you can also see that the heart has got quite a bit of detail as well.
Yeah.
And if I bring that in, we've actually cut that out, so we don't have to wait for Tracy to do that. So I've cut a heart out, and I'm going to add that heart here, like so. And again, you would go round with a black pen just to make that pop a little bit more. And obviously, when you're at home, you take a little bit more time just to work on your project. You don't rush it like you do on live TV. But if you can spend the time just blending everything and making sure everything's stuck down properly, you just get a professional finish. Just think it's important that you realise that when you're buying quality products, you should get a quality finish. And it means that your cards look a step above just being handmade. They're not just handmade, they're a little bit more than that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what you can do is there's a little sentiment on the mouse stamp set, and it says friendship. And the friendship sentiment coordinates with all the alphabets that I've done previously, just so that you realise that there is thought that goes into the stamp sets. So even the sentiment coordinates with everything else. So we've got that friendship. So there's our friendship sentiment. Just cut that out. And your mouse can hold all the accessories that are actually on the stamp set as well. So it does work with everything that's on the stamp set. And what you do then is we'll add this to the card so that it's holding the friendship word.
Oh, look.
And then you can send this to a friend, especially in lockdown, if they're not feeling very, very bright.
Yeah.
You could send this to a friend.
You could send this to a friend who knows things about facts and figures and say, come and help me with my tax return or my or whatever it might be. That's awesome. Tracy, I'm going to have to leave you, I'm afraid, but you can always come back in a recap, of course, because you're back with us at 8 o'clock. Can I say what an absolute joy to have you with us. I've really, really enjoyed it, and I know it's going to be another brilliant hour with you again at 8 o'clock tonight.
Lovely to work with you, Derek. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Oh, amazing. I wish the show was 4 hour long. Quick, very, very quick recap then. So we've got, remember, the 3 large stamp sets. So the new pheasant, we've got the snippet alphabet and the heart grunge there, which is really, really lovely. Very, very busy on its own there as a monthly mega deal. £49.97. That's saving £4. Then we've got the other set of Tracy's stamps as well, with the Quirky Friends, Up, Up and Away and Happy Dog. 5793. 1309, £31.97. You can put the two together, so the complete Tracy Evans collection, so that set, and the details are there. 405819 at £78.94, saving £3 on its own, but that incorporates the £4 saving from that set into that set, putting those together. And don't forget the mega monthly mega deal, which is so popular that half of the stock of the entire month has sold out and gone. It's not just a 1 day or a 1 week thing, this is a month thing, and within half a day half of the stock has sold out. 728596, remember, has a freedom price and 3 flexis on it as well. My thanks to Tracy. She's back again in an hour's time, or an hour's time, with Hayley with another 1 day special hour. Check out